Shalom, my friends, and here we go. Before I jump in, I wanted to point out there's one other reference to Enoch in Hebrews 11:5. Which reads, "By belief, Enoch was translated so as not to see death, quote, and was not found because Elohim had translated him," close quote. "For before his translation, he obtained witness that he pleased Elohim." And then it goes on to say, without belief, it's impossible to please Elohim. And one other point before we begin with the watchers is in the book of Devarim, that is Deuteronomy, chapter 3 and verse 11 says, "For only Og, sovereign of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephaites. See, his bedstead was an iron bedstead. Is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 amah is its length, and 4 amah its width, according to the amah of a man." That is to say, that his bed was 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. This is referring to the offspring of the Nephilim. You might think of fallen angels. We don't want to use that word. Fallen messengers. The fallen malachim. The Nephilim. Nephilim means fallen ones. And these are the ones that we are going to be reading about in this first section of the book of Enoch, called Watchers. And so we begin. The book of Enoch. Hallelujah Scriptures version. You want my advice? Don't read any other. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it, the difference. Enoch, Watchers, chapter 1. The words of the Beracha of Enoch, with which he barach the elect and righteous. Pause. Do you remember these words? The words of the Beracha, the blessings of Enoch, with which he barach, blessed the elect and the righteous. Continuing, who will be living in the day of tribulation when all the wicked and unrighteous are to be removed. We see in the book of Revelation that there are the saints and the elect. And I have other videos about that. Those are believers, but they're not the same as the called out ones, whom I believe are taken before the great tribulation begins. Back to Watchers, verse 2. "And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by Elohim, saw the vision of the Kadosh One in the Shamayim." which the messengers showed me. And from them I heard all matters, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a distant one which is to come. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them, the Kadosh Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal Elohim will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp, and appear in the strength of his might from the Shamayim of Shamayim. I mentioned this in my introduction. Shamayim is plural for the word that we commonly think of as heavens. So this is talking about the heavens of heavens. Think about that for a minute. And there's no word in the scriptures that actually says heaven. It's always plural, and that is Shamayim. Verse 5, and all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake. Now, who are the watchers? The watchers are malachim, messengers. Our old way of thinking would be angels. Verse 5 again, and all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth, and the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. And the earth shall be completely torn in pieces, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and compassion shall be upon them, and they shall all belong to Elohim, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be Baruch. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. Let me make 2 points here. All that is upon the earth shall perish. What does perish mean? There are other places where it says that people will be destroyed. What does destroyed mean? In our English way of thinking, to be destroyed or to perish, we think that means no more, done away with, gone. No. We'll see as we partake of this food that it's not possible for any living soul to be destroyed in the sense of being done away with, gone no more. That does not happen to anyone at any time. To perish, well, it could mean that you could have a physical death, but you still go on living. Just not in your physical body on the planet. To be destroyed, it's better to think of that as having a life that is destroyed. You're still living, but your experience is destroyed. Your experience is horrific. Your experience is miserable. I've seen too, we'll come up upon this, in one paragraph, the word chai, was there, and in the next sentence, the word life. Now, life is a pagan word, and the Hebrew word chai is the word that we prefer to use rather than life. But I thought, well, how can we see those two words in one paragraph? And my understanding tells me that you can be alive and have life without having chai. Chai is eternal life. Chai is having the indwelling Kodesh spirit of Elohim dwelling in you. Chai is having a direct connection to Elohim, not being separated from him. Chai is having joy and prosperity and fullness of peace. Where life, on the other hand, you can be alive and yet be separated from Elohim, and your life is full of confusion and darkness and sorrow and misery. We see in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, where Elohim told Adam, if you eat the fruit from this tree, that day you will surely die. Adam, and Eve, rather Chava, they both ate the fruit. Did they die that day? They lived on for many, 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 many years. But yes, they died that day. I have other videos about this. Life and death is not what we think. Adam died, and though he kept on living, what died means is that he was no longer connected to Yahweh. He had lost the indwelling Kodesh spirit, separated from the Father, separated from the Son, separated from his Kodesh spirit, separated from Elohim. So I just want to make that point. The second point I wanted to make is, we read in verse, the ending of verse 8, it says, and he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. Bear in mind when you read about light in the Word, sometimes it's referring to light, such as daylight, light from the sun. But there are other times it's talking about a spiritual light, light of knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And I think I get into that a little bit in some of my other videos too. Anyway, back to Enoch, verse 9. And see, he comes with 10,000s of his Kodeshim to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the wicked, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their wickedness which they have committed wickedly, and of all the harsh matters which wicked sinners have spoken against him.